name is Pierre Perry, owner and broker of Perry's Realty, team leader for the Pierre Perry Realty team. As always, I want to say thank you for watching our videos, and I encourage you to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, where you'll find lots of information about real estate investment and the real estate market in general. If you're looking to buy, sell, lease a property, I encourage you to check out our website at pierreperryrealtyteam.com or give us a call. So, in today's video, I want to talk about building wealth through real estate and its importance. When we look through the history of time, we know that real estate has made more millionaires than any other investment tool or technique. Real estate also is a very affordable way to develop wealth with lower income. So, what does that exactly mean? First, let's talk about what it means, what your net worth actually is. Your net worth is derived from taking all the assets that one owns. That may be cars, money in the bank accounts, jewelry, any asset, anything that has value, and then subtracting out any debt associated with it. That's mortgages, loans, any debt you have, and that net number becomes your actual net worth. Now, net worth is used by banks to determine whether or not they should or should not give you a loan, or whether or not they may or may not lend to your business. Other investors and other investment techniques also look to your net worth to determine whether or not you may or may not be qualified to take part. So, as you can see, development of wealth and your net worth becomes a very key indicator in total overall growth that you'll have and that potential that you have. So, why is real estate important when it comes to building one's net worth or evaluation of it? I was reading an article by Odetta Kushi where she looked at a 2019 financial study that showed that when based on the median household income, a person who owns their house has a net worth of 40 times of their counterpart. More easily understood, it showed that a person who owns their house had a net worth of approximately $250,000 versus the person who did not own their house of almost just $6,000. As you can see, that's a large disparity between one who has home ownership and one who does not. So, why do I suggest utilizing real estate as a means to building wealth? Well, one thing is when you look at the lower income or ones who aren't making $1 million a year on their net and regular job, it's one of the easiest investments to actually get into. 2, you always have to have a place to stay. Whether you're buying or renting, everyone needs a place to live. So why would we not look for that commodity that's going to help us also make generational wealth? 2, as I stated earlier, the barrier to enter in is a lot lower than it is in other investments. In most incidents, you can become a homeowner with as little as 3.5% down, maybe 5% down, and in some cases, even 100% financing where you put no money down. So if you look at that trend and we compare that over a 10-year period, we find that generally your real estate appreciates at 3% interest. So if I put down 5% or less on this property, but it continues to appreciate in value and I continue to pay down the actual mortgage on there, I'm just building more and more equity. Additionally, once I pass on, this is an actual asset that can be passed on for generations and kept in families to continue to build a generational wealth and a legacy for a family. So you can begin to see the importance of why owning a house is very important to one's net worth and the development of wealth. So I always get this question of, Pierre, why would I buy a house when it's going to come with utilities, maintenance, and other expenses that I don't have if I'm renting an apartment or renting a house for someone else? It's their responsibility to AC or something goes out. Yes, that is very true. You do have responsibilities. Like most things in life, it doesn't come for free. However, when you look at the long-term return on it, you are much better off, especially on long-term rentals, than you will ever be, long-term buying than you ever will be renting. I explain that simply as, if I'm renting a property and I'm spending $1,300 a month, at the end of the year, all I have are my check receipts from where I spent $1,300 a month and I paid someone else's mortgage. If I'm paying that same $1,300 a month and I own my property, each month I'm actually paying down some of the principal of the property, meaning I'm paying back that bank that lent me the money in the first place. 2, I get to write it off on my taxes, right? All the interest that I paid throughout that year. 3, depending on what kind of expenses I had and what improvements and upgrades I made to my house, I may also be able to write those off on my taxes. Additionally, as I stated earlier, we see that the trend is that over a 10-year period that a house will appreciate on average 3% per annual. That means that you could have a house that if you bought for $200,000 and then after 25 years, that house was started at $200,000, may, if it continued to appreciate at an average of about 3% each year, would be worth about $417,000. If you can imagine, if you rented over that same exact period of time, again, you have nothing to show for your investment. If you took an investment like that and you keep in mind the fact that you may have put down as little as 5%, meaning that you put down less than $10,000, you can already imagine there's very few things in life or very few investments that if you place $10,000 into it after a 25-year period of doing something that you're going to have to do anyway, right? You're going to have to live somewhere regardless, that your $10,000 investment has now ballooned into being worth almost $400,000. I don't care if you're the best the best stock trader in the world, that kind of proven track record just does not generally exist. The first question, another question I'm generally asked by most people is, should I buy an investment property or buy my own house? Should I continue to rent and just get investments? Well, I'll tell you, I believe that it's generally in your best interest that you go ahead and buy your primary house. There used to be a saying, take care of home first. So I tell you that because generally your interest rates are lower on your primary house, your down payment is reduced, and at the end of the day, it goes back to what I was telling you earlier. It allows for an additional revenue source that's going to build wealth over the long term, and it is a generational growth that allows you a legacy to pass on. Now, if you want to buy a rental property, keep in mind that generally your barrier to entry is a little bit higher. What I mean is your down payment requirements are higher, your interest rates are higher, and a lot of times the amortization rate, which is the period by which how long you have to pay back, it's generally going to be shorter, because banks already understand that if this is nothing but an investment property to you, you have nothing to lose by walking away from it. So if you're on the fence about whether or not you should buy or you should rent, I will tell you that in most situations, the answer is going to be you should be buying your house. If you're at home, still with your parents, saving up, I say save up, then buy your first place, whether that's a condo, whether that's a townhouse, whether that may be a duplex where you live on one side and rent out the other. I believe that for your long-term financial wealth, health, and sanity, that you should definitely be making that investment into yourself. At the end of the day, when you're renting from anybody, any landlord, the only thing that you're doing is helping them build additional wealth. While as a landlord, I appreciate that wholeheartedly from all my tenants, I will tell you that when given the opportunity, I will advise any of my tenants to go out, buy, and own for themselves, because it's the only way that you're going to have any chance at a financial freedom, especially in the world that we live in today. So, as always, I want to say thank you again for watching our videos. I hope it's been informative. I hope it's been helpful. If you have any questions, as always, email me. You can put it into a Facebook chat, send it to Messenger. We try our best to put together and respond to any of the inquiries and any of the information. We actually are looking at a different 17 other topics that we should be putting out over the next coming weeks. So again, I ask you to subscribe, follow us, like our stuff on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll continue to develop and put out more and more information that hopefully will help everybody gain financial freedom through real estate. Till next time. Bye.